seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
That's it!
You're locked in here with me.
All right. I'm back, folks, after a week. I think this is the first time I've taken like an entire week off without doing anything, without posting anything. No live streams, no videos, nothing. I think it's the first time, maybe in years, since I've done that. An entire week. I feel pretty good. I feel refreshed, actually. Anyway, we're back to the Friday night live stream, Radio Baloney Live, Friday night. I am your host, Richie Baloney. It's good to see you guys again. I've missed you. Now, I really didn't pay a ton of attention or any attention to the news while I was off on my trip. But I've been trying to catch up. So we've got a shitload. I mean, there's so much that happens these days in just a week. It's incredible. We've got a crazy lineup of stuff for you tonight. It's nuts. We got Rosie in the chat. Good to see you. RMJ, good to see you in the chat. We got lots going on. Hope everybody's had a great week themselves. I did. I had a very good, relaxing week, but I'm happy to be back. Happy to be back at it again. I've got like a full 10 days before I have to go away again. So we'll make the most of it. Lots and lots of content. Of course, my channel will still be totally quarantined on YouTube, but it doesn't matter because I've got Rumble now. So right now we're streaming both to Rumble and to YouTube. And you guys know the drill. 45 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and 15. We'll be cutting off the YouTube feed and just continuing on live, bravely ahead with Rumble. We'll just keep going on Rumble. But I'm afraid after, usually around an hour, we cut off the YouTube link because it's just too risky. You just call it Stalin tube. Just call it Mao tube. Call it censorship tube. It's no good. So anyway, we can't do the whole thing over there. It's just too dangerous. They just don't like what we have to say and what we have to think and what we like to listen to. So that's the way it goes. Rosie says, hello, missed you this week. I missed you too. I really missed you too. I hope you guys have all been up to good things, positive stuff for your lives. But anyway, let's get to the crazy news. What are we talking about? Let's do the run through. Let's do the run through of the lineup tonight. So this here is part of the stuff, just the random stuff that I've curated from Twitter over the last, 4 hours since I got back to work. But I love dogs who skateboard. It's great. But to the serious stuff, we're going to talk about Colorado. What the fuck is happening in Colorado? All of a sudden, just Venezuelan gangs are taking over. I was watching Narcos on Netflix over the week, and then I see this, and I'm like, this is just what's happening. In fact, I was saying this. I remember saying this to my dad like years ago. Like the cartels are just going to do the same thing in the United States, also in places like Canada too. They're just going to go in, and then once they have enough power there, they're going to start threatening politicians. They're going to start buying off politicians, buying off police, and they're just going to take over cities. Look at this. Armed crew storms Colorado apartment building overrun by Venezuelan gangs spilling out from Sanctuary City. What the hell is going? Look at this. This is like something out of Narcos. Apparently, it's 2 apartment buildings so far. God knows how many. Nobody's doing anything. The governor's not doing anything. The police aren't doing anything. It's weird. It's weird. It's like Narcos, but now in the States, in Colorado. Colorado. It's like a sanctuary state, isn't it? Maybe they should rethink that. Anyway, we've got a bunch of stuff on that. We've got Trump's these latest charges latest indictment against Trump, Jack Smith, just desperation. Don't care what the Supreme Court thinks. Just got to get him. Just got to get him. Doesn't matter. Rule of law doesn't matter anymore. Got to get Trump. Ends justify the means. It doesn't matter. It's It's dangerous. This is just pure political corruption at this point. We're going to talk about Yale queer science. I remember weird science. Weird science. That was fun. Queer science. I don't know what's going on there. How is science queer exactly? I mean, science seems to be just like, you have a hypothesis, you test it and see if it works or not. Right? It's evident. Like, what does queer have to do? Does queer just mean we're going to wreck science? Science isn't going to work anymore. They've already started talking about 2 + 2 = 5. So they're already well on their way to wrecking mathematics. What does queer science look like? I think it looks like a plane falling out of the sky because people don't know how to make planes anymore. Maybe it looks something like that. Maybe it looks like nothing works anymore. I think that's what queer science looks like. Apparently, objective reality doesn't exist. That's what I hear. That's what I hear from science. From the new science, I guess we'll call it the queer science now. Anyway, I think that's probably bad. Now what's going on? Yeah, so more this Trump indictment stuff. Hold on. Let's move this. There we go. I'm just going to move it in my tabs there so it's in the proper place. Let's see. How about what's going on? And I mean, here's just this dystopian future playing out in front of us. Brazilian judge orders suspension of X. So this Supreme Court judge, Moraes, in Brazil, is just a full-on far-left authoritarian, apparently Marxist-Leninist, Stalinist, whatever you want to call him. Just a complete far-left crazy authoritarian. Now they're banned. They want to ban VPNs. They want to fine people $8,000 a day for using a VPN to look at X. They're just shutting down free speech there, and they're putting anybody who opposes them in prison. Rule of law doesn't matter. Again, this is a glimpse into the future. This is a glimpse into the future for Western countries. In fact, for the UK, they don't even need this. They're throwing people in prison right now. 1,000 people in a week for social media posts. They want to extradite people from Canada, from UK, from wherever. Sorry, the UK wants to extradite people from like Canada, the US, anywhere in the world that breaks their social media laws. If you say something naughty, no matter where you are, you could be anywhere. You could be down in Argentina. They want to extradite you so that they can punish you for saying something naughty on the internet that they don't like. I mean, that's no longer, UK is no longer a cautionary tale. It's just a full-on dystopian nightmare at this point. They've destroyed the government has destroyed the country, and now they're imprisoning anybody who complains about it. So anyway, that's going on. So we'll take a look at that and Elon Musk's response to all of this. Of course, we'll take a look at Kamala Harris's interview. And apparently the media is saying that it's good that it was boring and vague and nothing happened and nobody actually knows what any of her positions actually are. Except that mayor, what was his name, Willie Brown or something? I think he knows her positions, but that's the only person. Let's see. Yeah, so here's a bit, here's JD Vance on the Trump charge. In fact, maybe I'll move this tab as well. There, it's in the right place now. So I have everything ordered and I can do things one at a time. All right. Then where are we going? Okay. Brazilian judge. Got some stuff on Trump. We'll talk about. There he is with Tulsi. We'll get into all of that. Just random election stuff here. Crazy. I mean, I have to say, the far leftist women really are the scourge of the earth. They just want to destroy everything for everybody. We'll talk about that. And then we've got just a bunch of random stuff that I've curated from the internet, from X. She's big. Jesus. Yikes. You knew that was coming. Apparently it's good, though. Apparently, it's good to be morbidly obese. That's what they tell us. We got True Gina. We got True Gina here. We'll talk about him. And there's a new word that I'm going to start applauding in the chat. So already, if you say True Gina, if you put a True Gina in the chat, you get an applause. But there's a new one. There's a new one. I don't know if anybody's done this. If you've heard anybody do this or seen this around, let me know. But I think for those people that, like 20% of Canadians that still support Trudeau, amazingly, still support him after everything, after he's ruining their lives, what do we call them? I mean, we've called them TrueAnon, and I like that one quite a bit, actually. I don't know if we've used that in a while, but I thought of a new one. Tell me what you think. People who still support Justin Trudeau, we're going to call them Truetards and the True-tarded. So I don't know if you use that, if you use Truetard or the True-tarded to describe those people that still support Trudeau, you're getting this. Again, I don't know if I made that up or if somebody else did. Let me know if you've seen it before, but I like it. And I think we're going to go there. See, Rosie says, in Venezuela, they stop people and demand to hand over an unlocked phone. I've heard of this. Yeah. No compliance, go to jail. Anything unfavorable to government, go to jail. Jesus. Rosie says, people have moved to VPN, not illegal there yet. No, they're making it illegal, though. They want a $8,000 a day fine. People using VPN. So I'm not sure if that's just having a VPN period or if it's just for using X, but the stuff is kind of all breaking now. But hey, we'll get into that later. We'll take a deeper look into that later. So, and then of course we have Grok versus Trudeau. So if you've never been to the channel before, every Friday I have Grok write a poem about Justin Trudeau. I'm going to do this every Friday until he's no longer in office, until he loses the next election. At the very latest, October next year, 2025. But I have Grok write a poem about Justin Trudeau, and they're offensive poems. The other AIs won't do this. Grok is the X AI, so I guess Elon has told it has to do what I say. So what we do is we get Grok to write a poem about Justin Trudeau. There's 3 elements that must always be in. There used to only be 2. Used to just be that he had to do blackface at some point and also get a vaginoplasty operation. But we've added on, because I think everybody likes it a lot, that at the end of every poem, he has to be loaded into a giant cannon and then launched into the sun. So that seems to go over well as well. So anyway, so I'll just show you what I've asked Grok to do, and then we'll take a look at the poem at some point. Again, we're doing this every Friday until Justin Trudeau is no longer in office. And I must have done dozens, 60, I don't know, God knows how many of these. It's getting harder to do. It's getting harder to be creative, but I'll show you what I came up with this time. And then if you stick around, you can see what Grok came up with later. Write a poem about Justin Trudeau losing the next federal election with 0 votes. He goes into a deep depression after leaving office with his goal of importing the entire population of India to Canada unfinished. That does seem to be what he wants to do. He goes into a Tim Hortons coffee shop for the first time in his life. He's never been in a Tim Hortons before, to see if they sell chai double soy lattes, and notices one worker who is not from India. One worker who's not from India. See, this is apparently his life work. This causes him so much emotional distress that he immediately gets a vaginoplasty and permanent blackface treatment to cheer himself up. He is then loaded into a giant cannon and launched into the sun. So that'll be fun. I can't wait to see what it came up with. And of course, we have the puppy palate cleanser, which we had puppy palate cleanser and the kitten corner. That's palate cleansers, essentially. So when the news gets too depressing, we can go and see something heartwarming. And look at this. Oh, this wasn't the right one. Hold on. I had another one. Hold on a second. I'll show you what the correct one is. Well, I think I lost it. Oh, well, this will have to do. We've already done this one before. Here you can see there's a cat, and then there's kittens, and there's a puppy, and they're all friends, and it's lovely. And that's enough to wash all that awful Trudeau poison out of your mouth. And plus, as an added bonus, at no point, and I screened these beforehand, at no point does Justin Trudeau ever come in and try and give the kittens or the puppies puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones, or any kind of vaginoplasties or phalloplasties. Don't worry, I've got you on this one. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing. Rosie says, "Trutard." That will get applause every single time. All right, I wonder, where is everybody else in the chat? I've been gone for 1 week and everybody's forgotten about us already? What the hell is going on? It's almost 8 o'clock already. All right, let's get to the news then. Might as well just get to the news. So what do we got going on here? So this is stuff that's just unthinkable. It would have been unthinkable not that long ago. Not that long ago. Armed crew. So, okay, what's going on here? A shocking video shows a crew of gun-wielding men storm through a Colorado apartment building overrun by the violent Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua, which has overtaken multiple housing complexes in the area. And nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing anything about it. There's problems. There's dark clouds on the horizon. In the clip obtained by Fox Denver, a group of heavily armed men, including 3 with handguns and 1 with a rifle, can be seen in surveillance video entering another troubled apartment complex in the Denver suburb of Aurora and breaking into a unit. The Aurora Police Department acknowledged it is aware that components of Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang, are operating in Aurora, saying that the police force has been increasingly collecting evidence to show the gang is connected to crimes in the area. Yeah, geez, I wonder if the Venezuelan gang is connected to any crimes in the area. Who would have guessed that? I mean, geez, I wonder what would happen. I mean, you'd think they'd be on their best behavior, right? They wouldn't want to get into any trouble. The gang members from Venezuela wouldn't want to get into any trouble. I mean, just truly bizarre. Rosie says, "I am sad." Well, I think she's talking about because all the regulars haven't shown up yet. Saying, "I'm sad. I love you. I love you too. But we need them to." Well, maybe we don't. Maybe you and I, maybe we're enough just us together. I don't know. Let's see where this goes. All right. But in any case, who would have guessed that the Venezuelan gang that crossed into the country illegally might commit crimes? I feel like you don't need to be an expert on like criminal. You don't need to be a criminologist. You don't need to be a law enforcement expert. You can just kind of go, "Oh, let's see, Venezuelan gang crosses into country illegally. Boy, I bet they're going to commit some crimes." Seems kind of obvious, doesn't it? I'm sure all they need is a hug, though. And it's probably something to do with systemic racism in the country that they just broke into 5 minutes ago. Probably something to do with that. Let's see. The apartment investor said they've lost control of several apartments in the area to the gang, which has been renting out units to migrants under threat. So, yeah, so what they're doing is now they've taken over these buildings, kicked out the property managers, and now they're extorting the rent money as if they are renting, as if they own the building from the tenants. Again, this is happening in the United States, and apparently nothing is happening. Let's see, they were first hanging out around the property and creating a bad element that's constantly there. And then they start taking over. Quite a few months ago, they started taking over vacant units. Again, let's see. Who could have guessed that the Venezuelan gang that entered the country illegally might commit crimes? Who would have guessed a criminal gang who breaks into your country might start committing crimes? Who could have guessed? Nobody could have guessed this. How could Biden have known? How could the governor of Colorado, who apparently made the whole place into a big sanctuary state, how could he have possibly known? I mean, you've got the facts. How could the facts possibly inform? I mean, what do you know? I mean, all you know is that simply a criminal gang from Venezuela has broken into your country, already breaking a law just by getting in the first place, and then they want to live. How do you not know? How do you have no idea? To see criminal gang breaks into your country, starts committing crimes. I feel like the whole thing should be easily predicted. I don't think it's that hard to predict what's going on here. I mean, okay, you got Jeffrey Dahmer in prison. You let him out of prison. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to start eating gay people. That's what he's going to do immediately. He's just going to go out and start eating gay people immediately because he's Jeffrey Dahmer. You don't need to be any kind of criminologist or expert in anything to know that. That's why you keep him in there. I mean, I don't know. It just seems obvious to me. Criminal Venezuelan gang breaks into your country, starts committing crimes. Huh. Jeez. What a shocker. Let's see. Hey, we got Antipop in the chat. Let's see. Antipop says delinquent rent collectors. Is that what's happening? I don't know. It kind of sounds like a criminal Venezuelan gang just started taking over and started extorting money out of the people living there. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. Let's see. Let's see. Latest footage was captured earlier this month, shortly before a shootout at the Edge at Lowry apartment complex severely injured one person and damaged multiple cars. According to the local news station, a separate clip taken at a different time shows two men bashing the lock of a unit with a tire iron inside the same housing complex where migrants have moved in. Huh. Quote, "It's been a nightmare and I can't wait to get out of here," Cindy Romero told KDVR as she moved out of the building with her husband, Edward. Yeah. Who did you vote for, I wonder? Who did you vote for? Did you vote for the people who want these people to live with you? All right, I've got some clips. Hold on. We'll get to the clips in a minute. Colorado City Council member fires back after governor's office dismisses armed gang takeover as imagination. Imagination. Huh, that's interesting. The office of Governor Jared Polis dismissed the armed gang apartment takeovers as imagination. It's just a figment of their imagination. That's all. That guy there holding the rifle, that guy there with the handgun, they're just figments of their imagination. Because this is, I guess, this is the gaslighting, right, that you need, right? If you have insane policies, if you turn everywhere into sanctuary and say, no, please come in, Venezuelan criminal gangs, I'm sure all you need is a hug and a social worker. I mean, when you have insane policies, right, and you refuse to back down one bit, I mean, I guess this is what you have to resort to, is just saying, no, it's not really happening. I mean, that sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? You know? Inflation, that's not really happening. Sure. All right. What's going on here? Democrat governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, dismissed outrage over a video showing what appears to be armed Venezuelan gang members in an apartment building as imagination, despite significant evidence, like video evidence of them walking around with guns in there and clearly being Venezuelan gang members. Aurora City Council member Danielle Jurinsky fired back after the governor's denial, saying, "I am so disappointed. It is disappointing." In a statement shared to the New York Post, Policy's spokeswoman Shelby Wyman claimed the governor has already let the mayor know that the state is ready to support the local police department with assistance from state troopers and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation if needed. But according to police intelligence, this purported invasion is largely a feature of Danielle Jurinsky's imagination. Again, it's just imagination land. She just has a rich, all those tenants in those buildings, they just have these rich, vibrant imaginations that they've just conjured the Venezuelan criminal gangs out of. Because they just like creating, because they're so creative, because they're so imaginative. Isn't it wonderful how rich and vibrant their imaginations are? This is the gaslighting that you can expect. It reminds me of the old joke from the Soviet Union. They pretend to pay us and we pretend to work. Where once you get into the far left crazy policies and you just start, your entire philosophy is just a giant lie, right? Well, what do? You just ignore it. You just pretend it doesn't exist. You can't take a step back or else you'd be fascist, right? You can't ever say that of any insane far left policy that regarding economics, policing, whatever, you can't ever say, oh, maybe this thing isn't working. Maybe the crazy thing that we did isn't working. Maybe the whole sanctuary city, sanctuary state thing isn't working. You can't do that. Any step backwards, any step to it's not even a step to the right. It's just not to move any further left. That makes you a fascist, apparently. That makes you one of the bad guys from World War II. So that's what they have to do, just gaslighting. They're not going to stop. They're progressives, didn't you know? They're going to keep progressing. I'm not sure the word progress means what it used to either. Seems like the meanings of a lot of words are changing these days. Let's see. Rosie says that Trutards. That's right. Trutard is the new word. I mean, Trugina also gets applause, but Trutard also gets applause now. So you can say, again, it's our new thing that we're trying to popularize. So you can say, hey, that person, I know this guy, and he's going to vote for Trudeau again. He's a real Trutard. That gets applause. You say, there's like 20% of Canadians still like Trudeau? They must all be Trutarded. That's going to get an applause as well, just like this. But Rosie says Trutards might be imaginary too. If not, I bet they could be recognized by the face mask being worn in August of 2024. I don't see many of them these days, but they still, occasionally I will see them. Maybe I just don't get out enough. But I was just in an airport twice in a week. I was in so I flew out and flew back again. I didn't see any face masks in the airport, so that was interesting. All right. So anyway, they're saying that this is just the product of the rich and vivid and vibrant imaginations of the tenants of this apartment building, which by all accounts, let's see, handgun there, rifle there, it kind of looks like it might be real. It kind of looks like there might actually be a Venezuelan gang outside of that person's door. Kind of seems like the tenants are saying that they're forcing them to pay rent to them now. So I don't know. I'm I'm not certain that you can actually bring your imagination world to real life. I'm not sure you can actually conjure criminal Venezuelan gangs just out of your imagination. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe the governor is a piece of shit, is a moral monster who doesn't care. Let's see. City Council member Danielle Jurinsky has been at the forefront of this issue, including evacuating several residents from an armed gang-occupied apartment building on Wednesday. I think they need to rewrite this. It should say including several residents from an imagination-occupied apartment building on Wednesday. Let's see. In an exclusive interview with Fox News Digital, Jurinsky fired back at Paulus, the governor, asking, quote, "My question back to the governor is this also a figment of the Romero's imagination? And the other resident that I helped to get out of there, and the other residents that I'm going to continue to get out of there?" Spokeswoman Shelby Wyman responded to Fox News Digital saying, "Governor Paulus hopes that the city council members in charge stop trashing their own city when they are supposed to keep it safe." I don't find it at all remarkable they would say this. It's just don't talk about the consequences of our policies. Don't. We're not changing them. We're going to double down on them. Because when things don't work, when things become totally dysfunctional because of the wokeness, what we do is double down. We do more of it. The problem is we're not more woke. We're not more insane. We're not extreme left enough yet. That's the problem. Don't name the problem. It might make people think that the insane things that we do are insane. There's an election going on. Have you heard about that? I wonder if that has anything to do with this. Because, immigration is a big issue in the United States. It's not just in the United States. Well, I mean, it's the biggest issue in Canada. I think it's the biggest issue in like the UK, throughout the Western world. But in the US, there's an election that's coming up very soon, in a couple of months. And immigration's a big part of that, border security and illegal immigrant crime. I wonder if that has anything to do with the governor's dismissal of what is just clearly an obvious problem, right? As imagination, as he says. I wonder if the fact there's an election coming up, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Huh. Could be, right? Could be. Let's see. Quote, "We know violent crime in Aurora went down between 22-23. Did it though? Did it? I mean, they just say things, right? I mean, the Biden administration just downgraded their jobs report by 1 million jobs. 1 million jobs. They said there were 1 million more than there were, and then later on they go, "Oh, actually, no, that's not true." So anyway, but we're doing great. We're totally doing great. We fully expect the data will show further declines for 2024. And it sounds like the incidences of Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment buildings has shot through the roof, though. Sounds like that thing has shot through the roof. The recent misinformation campaign threatens actual criminal investigations and could hurt the climate for small businesses in Aurora. I don't know, maybe Venezuelan gangs hurt the climate for small businesses in Aurora. Who knows? Could be. According to reporting from the New York Post, more than 40,000 migrants have arrived to the Denver area since December 2022. 2022. So I really wonder about this whole crime going down thing. I mean, just simply when you just import a bunch of people, just regardless of where they're from, some of them are going to commit crime, and crime is going to go up. It's inevitable. I mean, they're just humans. There's going to be some percentage, regardless of where they're from, that are going to commit crimes. But then you have 40,000 people who broke the law just to get into the country in the first place. And, well, it turns out It looks like they might actually, looks like countries like Venezuela might actually be emptying their prisons. Like Trump said. Huh. I wonder if he wasn't just making that up. I wonder if he wasn't making that. I wonder if that's actually true. I don't know. Maybe there's some apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado. You could ask the people there. Maybe they'd have some ideas. All right, so let's take a look here. So what's going on? I received this from a follower in Aurora, Colorado. His truck was shot up in the middle of the night in a random drive-by attack. This occurred just a few miles from the apartment complex that was taken over by a violent Venezuelan gang. Crime in this city has skyrocketed. It has skyrocketed. Let's take a look at this. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. They're doing a great job there. Wow, fantastic. But don't worry, these are imaginary bullet holes, right? The governor's convinced of it. It's imagination. That truck used its imagination. What's this guy saying? What are the people there saying?
If I told you this was happening in 2024, would you believe me? Let me tell you how crazy this is. In Aurora, Colorado, there's a Venezuelan gang that has taken over 2 apartment buildings. I could you not. The landowner has contacted the local authorities. They said there's nothing they can do about it. That's squatter laws, bro. I could you not. Look this up. Number 2, he went to the FBI. They said there's nothing they can do. And he even went to the marshals, y'all. And this Venezuelan gang has taken over the apartment building. They're charging the tenants inside rent money like they're the landlords. Meanwhile, the real landlord can't get these people evicted. All the people that's leaving the apartment buildings, as soon as they leave, these Venezuelan gang members are just moving in more gang members to a point where they are taking over the building with guns. It's no more security there. Like, look this up right now. And this is exactly what I was talking about like 2 weeks ago. Oh, not even 2 weeks ago on a couple of my videos. This is what they want. Attack within. Y'all better stay safe. Y'all better stay safe. This is what they want. For the country to be attacked from within. Black people versus the brown people. Let them fight it out. You see what I'm saying? Y'all better stay safe. It's getting crazy out here because it's going to get to a point where it's going to start affecting you. You may not live in Aurora, Colorado, but the fact that it's happening, man, this is crazy. Y'all better stay safe. Man. I've been seeing videos about the same Venezuelan people be in the stores looking to kidnap people and child trafficking. It's going to shambles. And y'all telling me Trump ain't needed? And y'all telling me Trump ain't needed? Come on now. Go look this shit up. This shit ain't no joke, bro. They're literally securing the area with guns. They're not even like, it's crazy. It's getting crazy. Stay prepared. TTG.
So like I was saying, on my week off, I was watching Narcos on Netflix. And then all of a sudden I see this. Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment buildings and nobody doing anything. The governor's saying it's their imagination. It's their rich and vivid imaginations, the people that are living in these apartment buildings. The police are doing nothing. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's listening. And I thought, this is like fucking Narcos, where the gangs just own towns and nobody can do anything. And like the mayor is bought off or terrified that something's going to happen to him or his family, right? I mean, it's all very predictable, actually, isn't it? How many towns in, I don't know, New Mexico, Arizona, like border towns in Mexico, or sorry, in New Mexico, in California, Arizona, are actually run by cartels at this point? Where they just said, to the mayor, the police chief, whatever, don't fuck with us because you know what's going to happen. This is where your kids go to school. This is where you live. It's all very predictable. Of course. Does anyone, like, I wonder, have any lefties, like any open borders people, been paying any attention to the news coming out of Mexico for, I don't know, like the last 20 years? Like, hey, they found like another pile of human heads on the side of the road. Hey, there's 5 more guys that were found hanging off bridges. Hey, 50,000 murders a year. Like, is anybody paying attention? Like, hey, it's like a narco state. There's like a parallel narco government that runs most of the country. Like, have lefties not been paying any attention to what's happening? Like, just watch Narcos. Watch Narcos. That's all you need to do. But, I mean, you could just read the news too, right? Oh, hey, they just kidnapped a busload of students and murdered them all. Because it is in the news if you look for it. Hey, they just found another pile of human heads. Maybe we shouldn't have open borders. Maybe that's kind of a bad idea. Maybe it's a bad idea to let Venezuelan gangs take over apartment buildings in the United States and then not do anything. Maybe it's a bad idea to let, I mean, come on. It's actually really depressing. It's also predictable. What's going on here? Venezuelans are taking over this shit.
Venezuelans is taking over. They just jacked them? Oh, me. These niggas is out here tripping. Bro, damn, they done made a mess of shit.
Pretty fucked up. Give me 1 second, you guys. Sorry, guys. I just spilt my drink. Everyone had to clean it up. But why don't the lefties ever tell you? They did. I'm pretty sure the lefties never mentioned anything. Leftist politicians never mentioned anything about Venezuelan gangs taking over where they live. They don't mention that for some reason. It's so weird, right? It's so weird because I kind of feel like no matter how woke you are, you're kind of still not going to 100% enjoy it. Oh, we had this wonderful Venezuelan gang move into our apartment complex. Oh, we feel so diverse now. Well, we are scared of them. That's true. And they are extorting money out of us. And doing drive-bys. But it's so wonderfully diverse. I feel so empathetic being terrified every minute of the day. Let's see. What do we got? James Curtis, good to see you in the chat. He says, that's why I'm very stacked with ammo. Ooh. Well, the Venezuelan gangs don't like that. Let's see. Antipop says, let's form a gang. Let's all move to Venezuela and we'll start a gang there and then break into the U.S. from there. Illegally cross the Rio Grande. Let's see. Rosie says, do we form it or imagine it? Well, I guess the governor, Paulus of Colorado, would prefer you imagine. Although apparently he seems to like the real thing. And then pretend that it's imagination. So I don't know. RSN, good to see you in the chat. Says reimagine it. Let's see. Antipop says Trump will get their oil. The Venezuelans. So crazy. Like Venezuela used to be the wealthiest country in South America. And not so much. They have tons of oil. The problem is once they went fully socialist, they lost everybody who actually could run an oil industry. And so they're producing like, I don't know, like 10% of what they used to. Just simply because they don't even have the expertise anymore, and just all of the inefficiencies and incompetencies around socialism. So they're fucked. People should pay attention, but they just don't, do they? They just don't. But this Venezuelan illegal immigrants have previously posed as Amazon workers in Colorado before violently breaking into homes to carry out robberies. Let's see what's going on here. So this is some more diversity. Wow. Thank God for that sanctuary policy, huh? They would never have that opportunity for the American dream without it. How about this? So this is what they have to do there in the let's see. Aurora, Colorado lady has to go to extreme precautions just when leaving her apartment due to the Venezuelan illegal or the Venezuelan immigrant gangs taking over buildings. America is wild, it says. What's going on here?
Every day when we come home, we have to do this. Every time we go outside to take out the garbage, every time we try to go to bed at night, we have to keep it like this so nobody can kick in the door. Every day when we come home.
It feels like there's a solution to this. And that solution might be say no, don't let them in. And when they catch them, kick them out. Kick them out again with, extreme prejudice. Seems to be a solution to this. Seems like you don't actually have to live like this. I wonder who she voted for, though. I wonder. What's going on here? Colorado Governor Jared Polis says the viral videos of armed Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment buildings is just a figment of the imagination of local leaders. It's their rich, fertile imaginations. That's all. Former apartment resident Cindy Romero absolutely destroys Paulus. Well, let's see here. So here's from a former resident of the building who doesn't seem very happy about things. Let's see.
Councilwoman Jurinsky, who has been amazing. My first conversation with her, she said, do you still live there? And I said, yes. And she said, I'm going to get you out of there.
Wow. So
she said, I'm going to make it my work.
So you're singing her praises. In the meantime, the office of Governor Jared Polis is saying she's making all of this up. Listen to what a spokesman said. According to police intelligence, this purported invasion, I guess, of these apartment buildings is largely a feature of Danielle Jurinsky's imagination. What do you say to that?
You can't fake video, and Polis wouldn't last 5 minutes on that property.
Wow. Here's
Not
what
5 minutes.
Here's what Danielle said about it. Listen to this.
I absolutely did not make any of this up. I love that is how our governor has quickly rushed in to say that that's the actual problem here. But the actual problem here are his weak policies that have turned this state into a breeding ground for this gang activity.
Cindy, why do you think the governor's office has got its head stuck firmly in the sand over this issue?
They don't want to admit that they're part of the problem. It's the administration who we count on to make the rules for us, to make the guidelines that we go by. I call 911, no help comes from me. No help. There's no mass amounts of police that show up to make sure that we're defended. Nobody showed up to help me. I didn't have a bulletproof vest. I didn't have 5 officers showing up with me whenever there was a problem. We were on our own and we were left to die.
Wow.
These people have no registration in this country.
Yeah, and we should point out that the scenes that you're seeing on the right-hand side of the screen there, those were taken from Cindy's Ring doorbell or video doorbell while she was inside her apartment. You can imagine what it was like living there. Cindy, God bless you. We're glad you got out.
Thank you so much. I am so grateful every day that I got out.
I wonder who she voted for. Because, chances are she probably voted for Biden and the open border policies. Probably voted blue across the board. And if she did vote in Colorado, right, she probably voted for all of this and probably will again. Though who knows? I mean, for some people, they are able to find the line. We've seen that in Canada. The Conservatives are up like 22 points, I think, last time I looked. Right, a lot of people in Canada found that line where it just doesn't make sense anymore. Where reality has had a good conversation, has had a good debate with woke, and reality has won because reality always has a better argument. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe people are going to wake up there. I wouldn't hold my breath, though. See, Antipop says, bear traps at the door. What? That's a hell of an idea. That's a capital idea. Antipop says, 911, no help when you see them kicking the shit out of a cop and do nothing. Yeah. Yep, not good. Not good. Not healthy for a society. Not healthy. Let's see. So here's the mayor of Aurora, Colorado, suggests the federal government may have funded to send the Venezuelan gangs to Aurora. Well, that's interesting. Let's see what's going on here.
Aurora, Colorado. Mayor, thank you very much for coming on with us. It seems it's tough to even get some confirmation of the details of what is going on there. First off, can you confirm whether or not this gang has taken over these buildings there in Aurora?
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these 3 buildings. Somebody put them there and somebody funded it, whether it's federal government or not. We're trying to find out who. These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants. And so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. We have now or have had, it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out. And arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
With the arrests that have been made, are these confirmed gang-affiliated members?
This is an organized criminal effort. Whether it's Tren de Aragua, that remains to be seen. But it really doesn't matter. I mean, if they're Venezuelan migrants and they're conducting crime in an organized
Understood.
manner, they were a problem.
So, okay, so you're able to confirm that this Venezuelan gang has indeed taken over at least some of the buildings. You're saying at least 2 of the 3. And what I just heard from you is you don't know how they ended up there. And you even made a suggestion that they could have been sent there by federal officials. I heard you suggest.
Well,
I mean, do you have any reason to believe that to be the case?
So here's the problem. I think we're a victim of a failed policy at the southern border because what.
So how do you know that the people that you've elected to run your life, to essentially to run your country, to run your state, to run your city, that the people you've elected, how do you know when they hate you? What would be some good evidence that they hate you? Might it be sending Venezuelan gangs to terrorize you? That might be a clue that they hate you. That might be a clue. It's at least a clue that they're not concerned with your well-being. It's a huge red flag to me. Let's see. The people that we elected to lead us send Venezuelan gangs to terrorize us. At the very, very least, they're not concerned with our well-being. And maybe, just maybe, they hate us. Possibly. See, Rosie's asking, isn't Colorado a state with isn't Colorado state kind of strict on personal protection with Second Amendment? You know, we should find out about that. Let's take a look. So let's do self-defense laws, Colorado.
Fact check.
Okay, the principle of reasonable force primarily guides Colorado's self-defense laws. According to Colorado revised statutes, a person is justified in using physical force upon another person if they reasonably believe it is necessary to defend themselves or someone else from imminent use of unlawful force. Let's take a look at this one. Self-defense is legal in Colorado when a person believes they are in physical danger. If they believe they are in harm's way, they are allowed to use the degree of physical force that is appropriate to the circumstances. You're also allowed to employ self-defense to keep other people from physical danger. What self-defense weapons are legal in Colorado? Stun guns, also known as tasers, can be legally owned and used in Colorado as long as they are for the purpose of self-defense. Can you use deadly force to protect property in Colorado? Generally, you cannot use deadly physical force in defense of property. You should use a lesser degree of force. So, yeah, they don't have like the castle doctrine there, it doesn't sound like. Does Colorado have the castle law? In Colorado, the Make My Day law, also known as the castle doctrine, allows individuals to use deadly force to protect themselves or others in their home or occupied vehicle. So, okay, let's take a look at this. Because this is the kind of stuff you'd want to know if you've got Venezuelan gangs taking over your apartment building. Is Colorado a stand your ground state? See what the law says. Colorado is not a pure stand your ground state. There is no specific stand your ground statute. Colorado law does recognize the right to use force, including deadly force in self-defense situations, but it does not have a specific standalone stand your ground law. The current stand your ground law in Colorado allows individuals to use this legal principle as a defense if they believe it is necessary to use force, including deadly force, to protect themselves in certain situations without the obligation to retreat. Okay, the Colorado Supreme Court states that if you need to protect yourself or someone else, you're allowed to stand your ground. This means you're not obligated to run away, even if you could find a way to escape. Using deadly force to protect yourself may lead to serious legal consequences, such as homicide or manslaughter charges, if it results in someone's death. Even if you are found not guilty in a criminal trial, there's a possibility of facing civil lawsuits from the family of the deceased person. Under the Colorado Stand Your Ground laws, you're allowed to defend yourself, but there are specific rules you must follow. Okay. Deadly force is only justified in these 3 specific situations: when you believe non-deadly force is not enough and you have reason to believe you or someone else is in imminent danger of serious harm or death; when non-deadly force is insufficient, the aggressor is using or appears about to use physical force during a burglary. So, appears about to use physical force during a burglary. So it's not enough for somebody. So if you're behind your door and somebody's trying to kick in your door and you shoot, which I think you should absolutely be able to in self-defense, sounds like that's not, you could find yourself in some serious trouble. So it sounds like, generally speaking, you can defend yourself, but there's some kind of loopholes. There's plenty of room for a far leftist DA to take you down and to take you in front of a, and depending on where you are, a leftist jury. It's not a jury of your peers, and fuck you hard. So it sounds like you want to, it's, there's peril in defending yourself there. So you might be okay. So that answers that question. Let's see. James Curtis says deadly force to protect yourself or family, but it sounds like there's room there again for like a leftist DA or prosecutor to go after you still. Rosie says, we know they hate us when they send a gang or force us to endure cackling candidates. James Curtis says, glad I live in the redneck state of Kentucky. All right. JDL, good to see ya. Let's see. JDL says, hit that like button. Yeah, hit that like button. Don't you want the good karma? Everybody, come on. Get that good karma. Get the good karma, the excellent karma. You might need that. You might need that tonight. You might need it tomorrow. Who knows? We're giving it away for nothing here. well, I mean, almost nothing. Just the price of pressing like or subscribing to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, by the way, subscribe right now. Then it's just done. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Let's see. What else we got? We're going to get off the Colorado stuff pretty quick here, I think. I think that we could come to the conclusion that it's totally insane. What has Trump got to say about it? Let's see what Trump has to say about it.
Colorado today, did you see that? Where Venezuelan gang members have taken over parts of the city. They've taken over apartment houses because these stupid people that we have leading our country are allowing these people, these criminals, to come into our country, and we're going to get them the hell out of here. And this is just the beginning. Wait till you see what happens. Wait till you see what they're doing. Colorado today, did you see that?
I mean, okay, he's orange. All right, and he tweets mean things. But he doesn't want to send Venezuelan gangs to terrorize you at your home, right? He's against that. That should really be enough. Just that alone should be enough for anybody. Say, I've been a lifelong Democrat voter, but it turns out that they want to send Venezuelan gangs to terrorize me in my home, so I'm not going to vote for them anymore. It's just common sense. Oh, I'm definitely not going to vote for that. I'm not going to vote for the Venezuelan gangs terrorizing me and my family. I think I'll vote Trump this time. I mean, he is orange and, he does tweet some mean things, but the whole Venezuelan gang terrorizing me and my family thing, that's too much. You'd think it'd be a simple choice, wouldn't you? Well, then you wouldn't realize that how many people have been brainwashed. I mean, just had their brains turned to mush by the media and the big tech machine. There really are just a lot of people who just want to follow, and they don't care. They just want to be told what to do. They just want to be told what to do by an authority figure, and they don't care otherwise. They want to be cool. Hey, 89% positive coverage for Kamala Harris, 89% negative coverage for Trump. Pretty easy choice, I guess, right? Media likes Kamala. Media like Biden, too. Media likes every single Democrat, every single lefty. As long as they don't challenge the Democrats. They liked Bernie until he started challenging, until that primary in 2016. Then they didn't like him so much. Then turned out he was a misogynist. Did you know that? Did you know that? They never mentioned that before he started taking on. It looked like he might win against Hillary. They never mentioned what a misogynist Bernie Sanders was. But commies always are, by the way. They always are. So, I don't know. The governor says that this what you're seeing here, that's their imagination. That's everybody's imagination, what's happening there. So, I guess nothing to worry about, right? It's just the rich, vivid imaginations of those people living in those apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Maybe it's too much sugar. Who knows? Rosie says, orange mean tweets and not True China. Now, for those of you who are just getting in, we've added a new word. So True China's been going very well. I'm very pleased with the progress of True China in the chat. And but we're adding another one. So those followers of Justin Trudeau, those people who still like Justin Trudeau, those people, I don't know, 22% of Canadians that intend to vote for Justin Trudeau's party in the next election, there's something wrong with them, right? We need a word for it. Now, we've used TrueAnon. That's a good one. But I didn't make that one up. Now, tell me if you've heard this somewhere else. I think I've coined this. But I think the word we can use for those people who still, after everything, plan on voting for Justin Trudeau and like Justin Trudeau, I think it's perfectly appropriate. I think it's a good name. I think we call them Truetards. Truetards. So you can say that friend of mine, lost their job. Their life turned to shit because of Justin Trudeau. And the car got stolen. Still plans to vote for Trudeau, though. Must be some kind of Truetard. Right? Or that 20% of Canadians that are still going to vote for Trudeau, they must be Truetarded, right? So any Truetard or Truetarded that we see in the chat is going to get an applause. I think it's got legs. Let's make this happen, people. You hate Trudeau, right? Of course you do. All right. Do you want to see how this shit happens? Where you've got Venezuelan gangs who left Venezuela. I guess just they let them out of the prisons and sent them across the border, sent them up towards the United States. And they went to Aurora because I guess it's like a sanctuary place. I guess Colorado's like a sanctuary state. And they're taking over apartment buildings and doing drive-bys and all kinds of things. You wonder how this can happen. Like who would tolerate this? Who would want it to happen? Who would not see the signs? Who would not be able to play out the tape to figure out what's going to happen? Let's see. Just let millions of people across the border. You have no idea who they are because they all throw their ID away. For some reason, they all throw away their documentation before they cross the border. I feel like some people, I don't think you need that much imagination to kind of play out the tape and figure out what's going to happen. Here's Ashley St. Clair, who went to the Aurora ICE facility where deranged leftists took down the U.S. flag and raised a Mexican flag in its place. These lunatics called me a white supremacist simply for supporting our flag and our troops. So, do you want to know how it all happens? This is how it happens. These people.
I don't give a fuck! I don't give a fuck!
Back up. Savannah.
That flag and the troops are the reason you're able to out here. You're a fucking
like
bitch! You're a fucking stupid ass, privileged ass bitch! Get the fuck out of here now!
You're a Coke Bro shell. Fuck the troops.
I'm here at the Aurora ICE facility where protesters decided to take down the...
See, those are the people. People like that are burning down Western civilization, burning it down, demanding something. They are demanding to live in a terrible country. In a terrible country that has no rule of law, that's just everybody's reduced to total poverty, right? Where equity is achieved. Equity. I think people hear equity, like stupid people hear equity, and they think, well, why should that guy have that nice car and a house and a pool? I want that too. That's why I want equity. So everybody ends up in the same place, just like Kamala says. Okay, they don't realize that, no, it's not everybody goes up. It's everybody goes down. It means the guy down the street who has the nice house and the nice car and the pool in the back doesn't have those things anymore. Now he has what you have. That's what it means, right? That's equity. That's the world that these people are going to, these fucking commies. Do they actually, these look like useful idiots to me. Do they actually realize what they're asking for? That's the question. Do they actually know? I don't think that they do.
American flag and put a Mexican flag in its place. I'm appalled that politicians like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have promoted this behavior and disrespected our country, our flag, and our law enforcement. I'm here to show support for our law enforcement and our country and everything that our flag stands for. God bless America and God bless our law enforcement.
White supremacists! White supremacists! White supremacists!
We also have the right, no matter which side we're on. We also have the right to use that.
I'm gonna get out of your face, or what? I have a question for you now. You are more concerned with a fucking piece of cloth than people who are locked in cages. Children, right in front of you.
You know that flag and those troops?
I don't give a fuck! I don't give a fuck!
Back up.
Why are they all so horrible? Tommy gets nothing. God damn it. Why are they all so fucking horrible? Why are they all such horrible people? It's truly amazing. All that empathy, huh? All that beautiful empathy. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have crossed the border illegally. Maybe they should have. If they're actually locked up in a place, they probably committed horrible crimes. That seems to be the only people. At least some of those people get detained, right? Everybody else just gets. They get a phone and they give money and they send them on a plane ticket. They send them off to, I don't know, Denver, right? New York City. Total madness. Total madness. Do they have any idea what's coming? Do they have any? They should all be forced to watch Narcos. That's what they should be. That's what they should be, all forced to watch Narcos and say, that's where you're going to live now. Antipop says, this is old. Yeah, but it's not 50 years old, is it? It's what, a couple of years old? A year? Antipop says, stupidity and passion. I think you're onto something there, Antipop. All right, let's take a look at some random stuff that I put together. What's going on here? Dude, who the hell is organizing these fights? So what is going on here? So she's not worried. Hands down. Just a kind of a bored expression and just walk. Anyway, this gets good. Let's keep watching. So there you go. So it turns out that being morbidly obese doesn't make you good at fighting. That doesn't automatically make you good at fighting. It does, however, make you good at falling over and injuring yourself because you're so fat. Yeah. I thought that was going to end differently than it did, but no. I mean, now that I've seen it, it makes perfect sense. Fall over and hurt yourself. And the other girl won just by not allowing it to get near. That's it. Rosie says the ice facilities are hopeless, horrible places. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I've I don't know if they're horrible places or not, but I can tell you one thing, they shouldn't be 5-star hotels. Somebody breaks in. I mean, they're breaking the law by breaking into your country, right? Like, you shouldn't roll out the welcome mat for crime, for criminals. Like, it should be bad. Like, the consequences should be bad when you do that, right? Like we've seen with like harm management with drugs, right? The easier they've made it to be an addict, the more people become addicts. And you go, well, I feel sorry for these people. I see these people on the street and whatnot. And you go, but like, at what point is the empathy misguided? Is the empathy actually damaging? Is it counterproductive? If we're looking at human well-being, at what point is the empathy counterproductive? At what point is the empathy causing a worse outcomes for people? You know, I mean, maybe the place that you put people who break your law by breaking into your country illegally, maybe they should be bad places. Like, maybe you shouldn't feel bad about that. You know, maybe that just actually makes perfect sense. You know, maybe prisons should be really bad. Anyway, Fatty fell down. But something I forgot. Let's turn on the volume here. Oh dear. Why must I be so cruel? Oh no. I think the best part's coming up soon here, and I have to time this perfectly. Hold on. I think it's coming up right now. Here, no, not yet. God damn it. Here it comes. Rosie says, definitely not a welcome map, but there should be quick processing and deportation. I couldn't agree with you more. It should be a fast process. Let's see what else we got here. So this is old as well. This is from when Trump was still president, but I thought it's a kind of a classic. It says, to the surprise of nobody, Greta is not very good at explaining her views without a script. Greta Thunberg. So here she was asked to answer a question off the top of her head, and it didn't go very well. Because it seems like somebody was, and I think it was Greta's parents were writing scripts for her. But here she's got no script. Let's take a listen.
My name is Thomas from Sweden's Express, and this is a question for Greta. Could you please tell us what kind of message, what you are doing here today, what kind of message would you send by doing this to world leaders, and Also, can I ask you, do you think it's about time that President Trump would respond to what you have said today?
I think. I'm sorry, what was the first question?
What's the message you would like to
Yeah.
send to our leaders
Yeah.
by doing what you are doing?
I think what we want to send is the message we want to send is to say that we have had enough. And anyone else wants to answer that question? I can't speak on behalf of everyone.
That didn't go very well. That didn't go very well. And I like delicious bird seed. And my boyfriend is a tree. Why do we need aeroplanes when we can just travel on clouds? A horse should be the president. Poor Greta. Poor Greta. She's kind of out of the spotlight now. But, you know, if they do another remake of Children of the Corn, I think she'd be perfect. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Should we get to these new Trump charges? Antipop says Greta running low. Yeah, she's not really in the news anymore. You know, it turned out she was a commie all along, by the way. She's just a fucking commie. That's what it comes down to. Every time when you take off the mask, they're all fucking Karl Marx underneath. Every single time. Every single time they're anti-capitalistas. Every single time they're anti-capitalists. It's like, it's the most predictable thing in the world. You see any fucking idiot, any retard activist talking about their retard activism and their project, whatever it is, something to do with, I don't know. They want to ban fracking, or they want to ban meat or food in general. They have some Malthusian plan. Every single time, when you get underneath it all, they just turn out to be fucking commies. That's what they really want. Every goddamn time. Anyway, so what's going on? This Jack Smith. Like, they just... Actually, hold on. Before we get into this, I think it's probably time that we shut down the YouTube part of the stream. So we stream live to both YouTube and Rumble every time. But then after about an hour, actually an hour and 26 minutes in right now. So that's longer than typically we would go. But about an hour and 15, something like that typically. We'll shut off the YouTube part of the stream, the YouTube side of it, because censorship on Stalin Tube, it's just the way it is. So the less that I do there, the less chance there is that I'm going to get censored. So we're going to end the YouTube part right now, but we will continue on Rumble. So just come to Rumble and watch it. It's pretty easy. You can now do it on your Roku app or your Apple TV or your smart TV or your computer or your phone, whatever. We'll be here. We'll see you here soon. Goodbye, YouTube. Ah.